Good morning, my friends. It's Hammer. Today is Monday, March 4th, 2024. I, of course, am with Originator Success here with your daily market update, the only place on the web where you guys get to be part of the conversation live. I do this live each and every day. You can join me 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I'm on Facebook and YouTube. I'm starting to actually do a quick recorded video on the TikTok as well. I call it the TikTok because I want to sound like my grandmother. And figured y'all would enjoy that. So anyway, if you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay. Let me know in the comments. If you're here live, say good morning. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're on Facebook, tag an hello friend, share us in a group. If you're on YouTube, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Remember, you can go ahead and sign up to get our written email lock advice to your inbox each and every day, www.ratelockadvice.com. There's a cool QR code, or you can use the sign up link that pops up in the chat, where you can go to ratelockadvice.com. You can check out our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. Get a lot of rave reviews on those. Can't beat them. You should join them. They're $7 a month. $7, protect your pipeline. This week's going to be a busy week. Next week as well. So definitely think about signing up for those. Last but not least, check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Find out how we help you get loans from Google and social media. Although I love talking about rates and pricing each and every day, what we really do here is help you get loans. So go check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Let's see who we've got here this morning and say hello to my friends. If you're here this morning, say good morning. We've got, let's see, Mallory Fodiatis. Good morning. Rob Stewart, top of the morning to you as well. Tim Kleila, good to see you, sir. Lisa Bollinger, good morning. Mike Morano, Ron Siegel, happy Monday, my friend. Tom Dedmore, good morning. Brandy Brickler, hey, great to see you. Kenny Rivard, hello, sir. Nicole Semerad, good morning. And Yasmin Martin, appreciate you saying hello this morning. Dive in, not quite as prepped this morning. Got a little bit of stuff going on here at home, but we will show you what we got going on and go from there. So firing up the happy screens. Let's take a look, and we'll start with the technicals. Let's talk about what's going on this morning. Mortgage-backed securities are down about 20 basis points to start the morning. Not what we want to see. You can see right here, there's a bit of a cliff dive. In fact, let me see if I can't zoom in on this. Nope, let me refresh the page and we'll get this to come up. But we're down about 20 basis points to start the day. Rate sheets are going to be very similar to what they were on Friday, not too far off, though, because if you take a look here, when rates came out on Friday, they were kind of right around here, around 99. As by about 10:30, it pushed up to about 99.05. We ended the day about 20 basis points higher than that. So we've kind of lost that, but we're very much, you could tell using this line right here, we're very close to kind of same levels as where we're on Friday, which means morning rate sheets should be very similar on the day. You can see here, this is just the drop in overnight trading. We ended the day on Friday at about 99.20, started today at around 98.90. So, bit of a drop. Had a little bit of a hiccup this morning. There's no economic data this morning. It's a really quiet week to start the week. You can see here, there's nothing today. It's a quiet day. Tomorrow, we've got the ISM non-manufacturing data. On Friday, we had ISM manufacturing. We get factory orders. These are not going to move markets. Wednesday is the big day that we're going to see some things get shaken up. We're going to have JOLTS, which is the job openings and labor turnover survey. We're going to have ADP private payroll. This is jobs data that the Fed's going to be looking at heading into the Fed meeting on the 20th. Not going to change the mind of what's going to happen on the 20th. Basically, markets all agree that right now the Fed not going to make any changes to the rates on March 20th. 97% expectation probability here that we're going to stay exactly the same. The Fed will remain unchanged in the March meeting. But right now, the May meeting, 3 out of 4, 75% believe we're going to stay the same. We could see this actually get a little bit better. We're going to see where this goes from here. So we're going to be watching that and see it kind of pick up from there and where that improvement is here. And how much we get. Looking at the rest of the calendar, we've got the Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He's going to be speaking twice this week in front of Congress. Once in front of the House, once in front of the Senate. The first day usually gets the most attention. This is usually right in the morning, so 8:30, and then his prepared statement will come out here. That's probably going to get a lot of attention, and then the Beige Book will come out in the afternoon. If we take a look at let me make this a little smaller. Look at Mortgage News Daily, economic calendar, and as well, and that'll give us. Let me make this a little smaller. All right, there we go. Okay, so this week, you could see that on Wednesday, AP data comes out early at around 8:30. The Powell testimony comes out at 10 a.m., but they tend to release the prepared statement earlier than that. JOLTS will come out at 10 a.m. So we're going to see some movement on Wednesday morning, which means that if you're looking at locking up some loans, you're generally going to be wanting to lock Tuesday ahead of that data. And then, of course, as we go through the week on Thursday, we're going to have more Fed speakers, and we're going to have Friday's jobs data. That's the big one, of course. We've been waiting for that one to see what revisions they do to that January number. There's a chance that we could see things improve at this week. So hopefully we have seen the worst behind us as far as rates go. I had been in a locking stance a little bit for the loans closing near term. Let me move this out of the way and show you. You could see, take a look at the shape. We kind of crested. We came back up and we crested, and now we're pulling back down from there. However, really the only loans that you have to worry about whether you want to lock or float are going to be loans that are closing in the next couple of weeks. Anything else you absolutely want to float. We want to get through this Fed data. It's very unlikely that we see a more hawkish message than markets are already prepared for. It's unlikely that Powell is going to give a signal that means that we're not going to see them cut rates until July or August, right? We've talked about before. Pull this up on the screen and we'll go over this together. Let me get rid of this. Wall for new Fed chair. I like Powell. I think Powell's actually done a great job communicating and navigating, especially with all the nonsense for politics these days. So, but Waller is also, Chris Waller is good. Christopher Waller. So anyway, looking here, the idea June, 30% expectation. If we see the Fed release hawkish statements and markets start to price in a June cut, rates will improve a little bit from here. Not tremendously, but a little bit, right? We could see an eighth of a point, maybe a quarter point. If the expectation of a July hike is all guaranteed, and maybe you're looking for a second one, or the idea that we're going to cut by July, but if they see June, September, and December, that would probably be really good for us. Right now, the idea of December being at 4 3/4, which would be two cuts, basically 2 quarter point cuts. That's leading the way. November expectation that we could be even a little bit lower than that. I'm surprised to see that. It's still a little optimistic. And then in December, it kind of holds between 4.5 and 4 1/4. So we're really neck and neck. So if we start to get some dovish economic data, some dovish feedback from the Fed, that's going to help markets to kind of celebrate the idea that we'll see rates cut a little bit sooner. And then that means we'll see those kind of trickle over to rate sheets. That's what we're hoping to see. So this week, there is so much data in that realm that we just talked about, but it doesn't really start until Wednesday. Monthly view. This is crappy if I do it that way. Let me make my head small and we'll make this full screen. There you go. So, again, it really nothing today, very, very little tomorrow. It starts to pick up on Wednesday. And so if you want to cautiously float everything beginning of the week, I would. We get somebody today, but we're not too worried. It's very likely we could see this drift down from here. I'm going to change this to 3 months a little bit more. It's again, we crested at the last week. The idea was lock in some of those for loans closing near term. Anything more time, I think we could see things improve. I think we could see mortgage bonds push up and test the 50-day moving average, maybe pushing up another 50 basis points as we head into this week. The labor data, if the labor market data is bad, it's going to do this. If the labor market data is good, it's going to reverse. We're going to see a real strong green candlestick like one of the ones here. And I think we've got a good move on that. Look at this 10-year treasury yield as well. I didn't talk about that yet. 4.23, much, much, much lower than the 4.25, 4.27, 4.30, 4.28. It's really starting to work its way down, and it bounced off of the 4.18 that we were at on Friday. But again, Friday, you could see here, we were going to test that the 25 and the purple on this one is the 200. So the 200-day and 25-day moving averages. And then we've got support from the green line that you can see here, which is really held up strong. That's the 100-day moving average. So right now we've got support at around 4.30, and we've got resistance at right around 4.17, 4.18. So we could, we're right smack in the middle of that range. Could see a little bit of bounce in either way. So Ron said Powell did a great job in 2021. If he would have increased rates when many of us were calling for an increase, we might not have had the inflation we've seen in the past 15 months. Maybe would not have had to increase so dramatically. I know where you're coming from with that. I actually think that the inflation on that is different. I really think that I don't think that Powell was the one that was pushing that. I think that was going to happen regardless. I'll tell you why. I think that the Fed raising rates was going to slow the economy down. I don't think we've seen it have the effect that it would have. You had people that were coming off of huge amounts of money, huge stockpiles of savings from unemployment, people that didn't want to go work. There was a large percentage of the population that had gotten used to sitting on their couch, making $700, $800, $900 a week, and they didn't want to go back to work. And I don't think Powell raising rates would have changed that. I don't think that would have had an effect at all. Again, we're just sitting here, chatting about that effect, but I don't think that was going to fix it. The whole idea of the supply chain issues we had, Fed Chair Jerome Powell raising rates wasn't going to fix the stuff not coming in from China. It wasn't going to fix the people that weren't working, truck drivers that weren't driving, railroad operators that weren't operating, people that weren't working here, retail, hospitality. I think all of that stuff was going to happen regardless of what the Fed did. And when you look at when they raised rates too quickly or aggressively and the banking sector had that flip of trouble, boom, they were right on that. They were lending money based on what they had in reserves with treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. And I think that they did a great job with that. I mean, that they stabilized that banking crisis issue very, very quickly. I thought they did a good job on that. Dropping rates in 2020, when did they start dropping? Was it 2020? It's funny, it's a COVID fog that I just don't want to deal with. There was an article in the Wall Street Journal this morning. I almost wanted I almost just want to put it out there where it talked about how COVID being like the flu, and for years, and it was at the beginning, COVID's not the flu. And of course it's not the flu, but what did we end up with? Where did we end up at the end of the day? COVID is treated just like the flu. Now the CDC says you don't need to be home, blah, blah, blah. You don't need to give 5 days. It had to run its course. So anyway, I think that the government, I think that the medical field, I think the panic, the media, I think all that is responsible a lot more so than the Fed. That's my take on it. So I think there's a lot less of a concern with that. That's mine. So I do love that we can disagree. And I would love to actually chat with you more about it. Let me know if you want me on your radio show again and we'll talk about it. Right. I would chat with you about that on the radio show. But when I look at buyer behavior, I mean, I think the Fed, they're so out of touch. Look at what's going on with Wall Street, how they are pushing the AI tech bubble. Look at cryptocurrency taking off again. Anyone else wish they had bought Bitcoin when it was down to 10,000 or whatever? I wish I had thrown 20 or 30 grand at Bitcoin. That'd be worth 65,000 for each 10 grand now, and made $150,000 on that stuff. Crazy. I knew it was going to go back up, but I don't get involved in that. Maybe I should. Will it crash again? Probably, but people, they love to bring it up. So anyway, it is great. Awesome. Would love to be there, Ron. I appreciate you, sir. All right, y'all. I'm going to wrap it up. It is 15 minutes in. It is a busy Monday. I know you guys have a lot to do. So do I. So, all right, my friends, thank you so much again. Keep an eye on it. It's going to be a busy week. Starting off, though, it's going to be pretty quiet. Cautiously flow everything for now. Let's see how it ends, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.